Hello, how are you doing today? This is Evan with Mountain and Meadow Health. Mountainandmeadowhealth.com is my website. Please feel free to check that out. You can share this video, subscribe to this channel, or subscribe to my newsletter. I'm on Substack now. You can also sign up still through my site right at the moment. But I just wanted to make try to keep it as brief as I can. Do a little summary at the beginning here. If you want to stick around for some more details, how I've seen this personally in my life, you can do that. Um, but it hasn't, I felt, been super clear to me from some of the courses that I've learned in and went through. They seem to indicate. So first off, this is the polyvagal chart. This is something that looks at our nervous system, the different levels of our nervous system. And I think it's very helpful. If you haven't seen it before, check it out. You can learn about it. I like this one, the way it's laid out and how it's clear. This is Ruby Joe Walker, Southwest Trauma Training. And we talk about this. If you're a client of mine, we go more into detail into this chart. But what I wanted to share is sometimes we get the idea from people or what we're learning uh, that we have this linear progression. If I'm stuck somewhere up here in yellow, orange, or red, if that's our pattern, then as we start doing somatic work and parts work and being with the body, then we'll naturally come down from the top and just go like this progression down nice and smooth to social engagement. And then we start to feel better, more clear, more connected. If you're dealing with, if that's not happened for you and you're kind of confused, or if you're dealing with complex trauma or early developmental trauma, that might not be how it happens for you. If it is, that's great. If it's not, this might give some explanation of why. Also keep in mind, it is true. It seems that makes sense in my case and from what I've seen with others and what everybody basically shares, that we can't just come down from feeling frozen and feeling shut down, jump over this yellow step, and naturally feel just great and grounded and safe again. We have to go through fight, flight, which may have anger and anxiety and sympathetic, the gas pedal on activity. We have to go through those things as we come down into social engagement. However, it is not necessarily going to be a smooth going down. So just keep that in mind. It may be that whatever your pattern is, wherever your nervous system is, that over time it will process pieces of shutdown and collapse, and then you'll come right back basically to where you were. You'll feel like that's in the same spot. And then you'll process some fight and flight, and you'll come right back up again to where you were before. And you'll take more and more bits and pieces over time, over months, over years. And at first glance, it looks like, well, nothing's changed. I mean, why am I still feeling, I'm still having these symptoms, I'm still doing these behaviors or these patterns. But looking back at a longer scale, long term, you can see that you are slowly, gradually coming down. Your baseline is getting closer and closer to um, safety. So just keep that in mind. Look at the long-term picture, not just a month ago, but what was I like 2 years ago or 3 years ago? What has changed? And eventually, the hope and uh, we want to feel more balanced, right? So we all hope that we will get closer and closer in social engagement, so that we're not up here all the time, but we're mostly in a place where we're down here, and maybe we get frustrated, we have stresses of life, we get angry, we get these different fears come up, but we don't fly high up into this overwhelmed place near as often, or maybe not hardly often at all. So that's the summary. So 5.5 minutes. I guess that wasn't too bad. Personally, in my experience, I have the last couple of years looking back, I was primarily in high flight, freeze. That was my pattern: flight to freeze, push myself, go, go, go. And then you have this freeze on top, so you're kind of feeling numb emotionally and numb to life, but you use coping strategies to get you through your life. And then every weekend to every couple of weekends, that would be my time where I was continually burnt out. So that would be my time when my nervous system would just go shut down, collapse, depression, shame, hopeless feeling, isolate, don't connect because you can't be out of your house type feeling. So over the years of doing this work for the last about 6 years, a little over 6 to 6.5 years, my collapse has lessened a lot. So instead of every couple of weeks going into that for several days, sometimes I would go into these pretty deep collapses for several weeks or more, on and off of this feeling. That's lessened a lot. Now it's occasionally I go into that deep sense of shutdown. If I do, it's more of a couple of hours to maybe 1 or 2 days. So it's much improved. So that's nice to see that. But again, looking back, you have to kind of look back and see what has changed there. I felt that my nervous system has worked through a fair amount of that. It has worked through some of the flight. So I've seen not having to use so many things to run and escape from to drive my life forward, having to overwork or overthink or overdo everything, especially the doing and overworking, overlearning. I see that as a type of flight. So that has definitely improved, especially the last few months. There's been significant shifts that I've seen that's just not continuing in the same way. I've worked through some of the freeze, just literally my body being cold, my organs, like my body on a physical way, digestion, things not working well. That has lessened. My being able to tolerate more foods, supplements and minerals has improved. Just always being overwhelmed, I feel that those things have improved somewhat. And then that I still have some fight energy, and that's primarily a lot of what's left is this anger and rage that's never been really felt and processed for me. So I've seen it for myself. If I was up here for years or my whole life, that I've gone in, my body started to process and work through collapse when it had the opportunity, and then it would come back here again. And then it would take some flight and then come back here again. Then it would take some freeze and come back here again. Little pieces over and over time so that I'm not so high up and down, slowly, gradually coming and then starting to feel see these patterns more clearly and start to see, yeah, there's a lot of anger underneath. And the subconscious, the different parts work or IFS work, more and more things reminding me of holding down, putting a cover, like freezing this, putting this cover on anger and rage and things that the body wants to do or say or move, but it's not quite ready to feel safe to do that yet, but that I'm able to see that there. So does that make any sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Not a linear step down, 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 nice work through fight, flight, and then you're socially engaged. It might be taking bits and pieces here and there, and then gradually you're coming down, kind of up and down, but slowly coming down to more engaged. I think that's all I wanted to share, and have a wonderful rest of your week.